Okay. Now we are going live. Hope I got it right. Hope we're YouTube. Hope you're live. I think we're live on YouTube already. Yes. Hello, everybody on Instagram and on YouTube. I'm just giving YouTube audience a little more time to come in. Trying to. Yes, trying to invite my guests onto. Hello, Tolu, are you here? Hello, everybody. How you guys doing? Welcome to my new series. Yes, it's called R.E.A.L. R.E.A.L. Yes, so we want to have real talk because I believe that, especially in this part of the world, we don't like to talk real talk, but we go through real problems. So how do you go through real problems in relationship, at work, at home, with family, with becoming, with progressing? But we don't talk about it. Like we are all grumbling together. Hey, Tolu, how you doing, my brother? How are you? I'm going to be inviting you on Instagram as well. So I'm looking for you on Instagram at the moment. Hello, Justina. How are you? How are you doing today? It's the R.E.A.L. Welcome to R.E.A.L with Kaffy. So R.E.A.L is relationship and life, because life is about relationship. Tolu, can you hear me? I'm looking for you, Tolu. Tolu, could you wave to me on Instagram? I need to find you. Yes, I found you. I found Tolu. I found Tolu. I found Tolu. Hey. Tolu, how are you doing today? I am good. How are you? I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well, thank you. And thank you for deciding to do this with me, because I think it's very. Thank you for having me. No, no, no. You know, when I called you about this, and I was like, I've been following your page for a while. Yeah. And I've seen that you've been very, very consistent with the communication about relationships, expectation, managing expectations, more or less like helping your viewers get clarity when it comes to relationships. And for me, I think that's one of the most important things, that clarity. Look, whether we like it or not as human beings, we're going to make mistakes one way or the other. But in our mistakes, we do learn. We learn with mistakes. So I said, look, I want to have this relationship conversations, not by myself. I need a man perspective if I want to talk about it. So it doesn't look like we're just bashing men or we're trying to be toxic to women or both ways. So I said, look, I want to do this with Tolu And it's not going to be a one-off conversation because I don't want the lives to be too long because of the things I want to talk about. So I said, let's do it as a series so that every week we can talk about it. And before you came on live, the first thing I was saying to the audience is, why is it that we go through real problems, but we don't want to have real conversations about them?
I think I think it's the fear of being called out, taking accountability for our actions. It's easy to say somebody else has a problem, but taking accountability for your actions in that problem is usually hard.
So, and again, don't you think there's somewhat, and let me just say, a conditioning in this part of the world when it comes to expressing your vulnerable side? I think there's something about that with us in Africa. Like, we don't want to be seen weak because we've been oppressed so much and our strength has been taken from us for almost half of our years, like from 0 to like 15. An average African child does not have a say in his life, like from 0 to, I can dare say 0 to 20 something.
Of course.
You understand? So when you take 20 something years not to have a voice, it's no, like, why are we, like, we shouldn't be wondering why we are this way. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Because, as Africans, especially, of course, as Yoruba people, they always say, take it, swallow it, don't tell nobody, show game face, wear nice clothes, nothing is wrong with you. And it's a family dynamic that has lasted over decades, because even things like abuse in the house, you have to be hush about it.
Yeah.
Don't make noise about it. Just accept it. Respect your elders. Don't make a noise. Don't express yourself. So when you have a culture where even the children can't tell the parents how they feel about things, so you have a generation that is just quiet. They are suffering, but they are wearing fine clothes.
Suffering and smiling. So today's topic, like bringing it to today's topic, is it takes two. And I want us to look at it not just from the relationship perspective, that it takes two in different dynamics of what is going wrong with us. Like, it takes two with the two generations. Like, if the future generation wants it to be fantastic, it takes the cooperation of the older generation. If the older generations want the younger ones to do well, it also takes a cooperation from them. So it's not a matter of you just saying, you children should behave this way, youth of Generation Z are like this. But the older generation are not listening that, look, the Generation Z were groomed in a different world entirely from ours. Even though they are facing close to the same problem, they are going to be reacting to that problem differently. Number one, we grew up, you said Yoruba child, we grew up in a home where adults are never wrong. Gen Z, let's say Gen Z started from maybe year 2000. I don't know where Gen Z started. Gen Z have the opportunity to listen to the rubbish or the lie and go on Facebook to talk about it, and will get an apologist who would say, how dare they say that to you? And the Gen Z is going like, it's true. My mom and dad shouldn't be talking. But we did not have somebody to say, in fact, the moment you go and report to somebody else, that person is your parent. Are you normal? You are reporting your father. Yeah. So when we talk about it takes two, in terms of, because before we dive into the crux of relationships, I think we should first of all look at the broad relationship between our generation, that with the 80s children, the generation before us that raised us, and the generation that is being raised now. Because I feel there's a triad, there's a trilogy of relationship, there's a triangle that needs to occur in terms of communication, closing of gap. If we're able to bridge all those gaps between our generation, the generation that raised us, and the generation that is being raised, we'll be able to get a solution. And the only way we can do that is talk to each other and understand our feelings. So in terms of that, it takes two. Let us say it takes three in terms of today's topic. What do you think generation, the one who raised us, need to start getting into their mind? And what do you think are the responsibilities of our generation? Because I feel we are the one that can do it between the old and the young. What do you think our own responsibility? What do you think we need to do?
I love that. I love that so much. I think the generation that raised us need to learn how to be vulnerable, because that whole front of I am always right and my say it's my way or the highway is a fear of being vulnerable, because they feel like if they're vulnerable they will receive disrespect. So I think what the generation before us needs to do is to open up that line of conversation. And the generation underneath them is basically to understand that, okay, things have been a certain way for years. And this is kind of, I can relate it to kind of like what's happening in America with the Black initiative. Yes. You've experienced oppression for years, but in order to have people listen to you, you have to come to the table with something they can listen to.
Yes.
Exactly. So it's the same thing with this generation and the generation.
Okay, if I want to break you a little bit, I want you to I want us to be very practical in our conversations, because I feel that with a lot of motivational speaking going up and down in Instagram now, everybody seems to have an opinion of how things should be done or said. I feel that one of the things that is hardly brought to the table is the practicality of these findings or clarity. So when you say our generation, we need to, be more vulnerable and understand the vulnerability. Can we have like a classic case? Like, okay, give me an example to say, even if you want to use yourself or a scenario that you are aware of. What you said something about conversation that can be heard. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
So I can use my experience with my series as an example, because I find that I relate a lot more with teens and early adults, a lot, and some of them feel very pained about certain issues. So what I try to do is to make them understand that, hey, it's not like we're trying to come from you, right? In order to understand us, you have to see our perspective, because honestly, if we want there to be a merger that works, we have to see each other's perspective. So the generation above needs to listen. Okay, why do these people feel hurt? Because everything I was doing for you was to help groom you.
Yes, that's the thing. You always think that it's for your own good, and honestly, so they are really sincere about protecting their children, but it's a damaging effect, that like positive toxicity that is going on, that is not really, like, people are not understanding that is there. Yeah, so continue, please.
So understanding that it was actually coming from a place of love. The method might have been flawed, but the intent was from a place of love. And if the next generation understands that, oh, I understand that you were trying to help me, but the method that you chose really traumatized me.
Exactly.
So it's about hearing each other out. Like, hey, I didn't beat you as a child because I wanted to be mean to you. I mean, I gave birth to you, right?
Yes.
I didn't want to kill you. I can't kill something that came out of me. But I wanted the best for you. And then the other generation to realize that, it was coming from love. It's just the method was very, like you said, positively toxic.
Yes. Good.
So sometimes when I say things on my page, like a teenager would message me in DM, for instance. Let me give you a practical example.
Yes.
And say, well, I've been in 4 different relationships. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And my immediate response is, I'm sorry, you're too young to have this conversation.
Hey, yes.
Because you don't know yourself yet.
Yes.
So your pattern of heartbreak will continue because there are some things you haven't learned about yourself. And sometimes they take it personal. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to come for you. I'm trying to say you're too young to be in a relationship. It's just that there's some things you need to learn. Do
you think the word too young might be the problem? Because one of the things that I've also found out, because I'm old school with a lot of things.
Yeah.
And me, I like to train, like I'm a military person when I'm training. It's just that I have I have an empathic way to it. And as much as I want to emulate some of the disciplinary templates that I was groomed in, I really do not buy into the abusive type. I don't buy into it. You understand? But I'm also unlearning some things that I felt is too evasive to the mental state of some people, because I could take it. It doesn't mean somebody else can take it. Sometimes I feel my words could be a bit too harsh, or I might not be empathic enough of that person's perspective enough to understand, because they taught us a one-size-fits-all mentality towards discipline, towards we never were taught to think, where could this person be coming from to allow like that. And those are the methods I started adopting when I was training. You know, I train a lot of young people because I didn't say, okay, no, you need to stop and learn from them and listen to them. Because if they were given the same circumstances you were, they probably will have been doing what you're doing. But given the circumstances that they are in, they might need a different approach for you to nail the same message. So the word too young, one of the problems that we have with that word too young, look at what we have now with information overload. There is information everywhere. There isn't many, let me say, barricades to kind of like help you see through what you should get, what you shouldn't be listening to. There isn't so many. So that with that now, you have somebody learning more about something too soon. Let's take sex, for instance. Yes, so let's take sex, for instance. We are saying the standard is maybe 18 or 16. I don't know what some people, because right now 11, 12 don't they do. You understand? Then and I'm not talking about the abusive one or the rape or whatever. I'm talking about a young girl and a young guy feeling that they're already having that emotional chemical reaction of feelings because they have been exposed to information that allows them to start probing that side of their senses. You understand? And it's ignited. So if it was secondary school, you're getting your first boyfriend. I bet you now it's primary school. People are getting their first. So are we going to say, because there's a let me just say a contradiction between too young and information getting to them too soon. So I believe that if information is getting to a child so soon, then I don't think they are too young to be led in the path, but with maybe the wisdom of the level they are. Because my brother, age is, I think we are emphasizing too much on age, but we're not emphasizing too much on exposure of the mind. Because you know that some people are very old, but their minds are not exposed.
But they're young.
I was at 16, I was so aware of my future, my purpose, and what I want to be. I was so aware of not dealing with boys, apart from the traumatic way Mom said, if you touch, you go get belly. But I made a personal decision that I no want to do some certain things, even though there was so much information around me. Somebody would say, why are you behaving like a 30-year-old, but you're 16? So if I am 16 and I'm having an ambition as a Steve Jobs at 16, are you going to shut me down and say I'm too young?
No.
So I think we should use the same, how will I say, gloves to kind of like help the younger generation who, unfortunately, it's unfortunate that at 13 she's having sex actively.
Exactly. And what I try to do in that part is typically when they misunderstand where I'm coming from, I try to make them understand the responsibility that comes with a relationship, because relationship has responsibilities. Do you understand? So if I ask them, so what are you doing right now? I'm still in school. Oh, okay. You're not even in university yet. Okay, so do you think you're ready to marry right now? No, I'm not. Not even by a long shot. I'm like, okay, that's good. Do you think your boyfriend that you're with right now is ready to take care of you financially? She'll be like, no. Sometimes I even give him money. Like, so these are the things that the dynamics of a relationship, that you're not in that phase of life yet, right? So why not focus on the phase of your life that matters, which is self-development, self-grooming. So sometimes when they misunderstand, I go a little bit further to see that, hey, this is the ideal right here. And the reason why these boys are coming and going and having sex with you and leaving you is because they don't have the ideal yet. None of them.
They themselves don't.
Exactly. So you will not experience commitment at this level of your life because there's something you need to be building yourself before a relationship. Yeah.
And it's so good that you had to say that because, yes, and for those of us that are just joining, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping again. So I am having this conversation with Tolu. Tolu is one amazingly young guy that I met as a coach in Project Fame. In Project Fame, and he's such an amazing soul. Like, it's very rare to see people in our industry that are well put together, have good behaviors, and are, the idea of immorality and men in the industry is like 5 and 6, but Tolu is totally different. I don't know. It's totally, at least what I have seen, maybe in his closet, I don't know what it is, but I'm saying for the one that I have seen, and for so long he has maintained that, only to find out that you are actually trying to give back with the kind of class that the kind of you dedicatedly put out, content you dedicatedly put out. It's a reflection of that thing I saw during Project Fame.
Of course.
You understand? And it's so beautiful that you are doing that. And that's why I'm doing this series with him, everybody. It's called R.E.A.L with Kaffy. Real mean relationship and life. Because life is all about relationship, because we don't live by ourselves. Whether it's business, whether it's marriage, whether it's whatever kind of friendship, it's all about managing relationship expectations, experiences. Heartbreak can happen even with business partners. So we just need emotional intelligence to be able to manage the different barrage of emotions we go through, and that's why we're here. So welcome, everybody. Now, going back to the topic of today, it takes two. I want to jump on the bandwagon of what has been going on lately with marriages. And I don't want to go so deep in the structure of marriage, but I want to go into the aspect of the responsibility required in such a union. My first question to you is, what is marriage to you, Tolu? What is it? Is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? What is it? What are the contexts when you think as a young man marriage? What comes into your mind?
Marriage is, to me, the most beautiful thing that can happen to a human being.
Are you saying that from textbook, or give you the reason why it's the most beautiful thing? Because everybody keeps saying that, and the world is proving that wrong. You understand? So not like I'm anti-marriage, but I want you to be real with us that I don't want us to hear the regular is the most beautiful thing that can ever happen in somebody's life. Can you tell me in the elements of it that makes you see it as something you look forward to having with someone?
So the reason why I started by saying marriage is beautiful is this. Because imagine somebody that has groomed himself, somebody that knows what he wants to achieve in life, someone that's on that path to achieving that greatness. Yeah. And then you meet another person that's also on this path of greatness, and then you merge. And that compatibility of merging those two people with greatness inside of them, where they complement each other, is what I feel marriage is. So I'm going somewhere, but because you're by my side now, I'm able to maximize what I'm going to do with my life. Yeah. So for me, it's kind of like two visions or two purposes merging.
Okay.
Do you understand? That's what I feel marriage is. Because the romantic side is there. Yeah. Of course, you have all these feelings. You see a person, you're attracted to them sexually, physically. But the merging of purposes where we complement each other, where you have a Bay and you have a Jay-Z. Because the merging of purposes is making them exponentially better.
Exponentially, okay.
Exactly, that if they were by themselves. And, a lot of people say this, that there's a reason why Beyonce would never do Jay-Z. Why? Because their purposes merge.
So even if they go apart, something is going to, they go apart, it's still going to, because even if emotionally there's a disconnect, the purpose is the reconnect.
Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better.
Yes.
So when people spiritual, I have something God gave me, right? Something that can actually make it a lot more bigger. So when you merge, it's like, that's why some people say when you marry, it's a good thing. Because when you merge purposes, then the success or the fulfillment in life, or the purposes or the lives that you're going to touch becomes more fulfilled in that vein. For me, that's what marriage is. And the reason why marriages sometimes do not work is because I have this purpose and you have this purpose and we're trying to do this.
Sometimes it's about, I don't even know my purpose. I have been told by movies and books and life that the marriage is the one that fixed my purpose.
Yes.
That's it. Yes. So people don't find themselves. People are looking for the fixer of themselves through another person who is trying to fix himself. And I was listening to a sermon yesterday, and the pastor said God had to put Adam to sleep to get out a rib. And it said, the Bible said he closed him up first. He closed him up before he introduced him to the girl. So he said there's a lot of men walking around and their ribs are open. They are exposed. They are open. And they're going around carrying infestation because they've not closed their womb. And whenever a woman comes in there, she's just going to go and it's going to be a mess. You understand? Do you know that when I was going through a lot, in my relationship, like the ugly side of things, I started looking to myself, why is my partner not giving me what it is that I desire in this relationship? Why is my partner not? I have to stop myself at a point and say, why am I saying my partner, my partner, my partner, my partner? I'm like, wait, is this his responsibility to give me happiness? I'm a helpless romantic. My mindset is Prince Charming, come and sweep you off your feet. All I got to do is to love you. All I got to do is to be loyal, faithful, and committed. But you know what? You should complete me. Nobody can complete you. I found that out the hard way because I listened to Pastor Miles Monroe, rest in peace. There is this, and I think everybody watching this should go and look for that sermon. It actually changed my perspective. It's about singleness, the purpose of singleness. Look, if you have not achieved yourself in singleness, please do not go and mingle. If you ain't properly single, please don't try to mingle. Because singleness is the state at which we become, or the stage of we are aware of our becoming, we are aware of our purpose, and we are so good with that. We are good with ourselves first. Like we are happy to be alone with me. Like I was happy to be alone with me. I started loving me better. I started seeing my value, my beauty, my accolades through my own lenses. Trust me, it's a journey that takes years. It's not something that somebody will just talk you out of. No. Because there's so many skills and levels that needs to be scraped off. Yeah. So there's the one that your parents planted there when you're growing up. The one of you grew up and married this and you must marry. And marriage is not like a trophy, like an achievement. The way you try and get PhD. You understand? It's a trophy. So you have that one planted. You have the one that the society plants that, look, you cannot amount to someone. You cannot marry as a dancer. I have that at the back of my mind. I will prove to you guys that I can marry and I can have a home as a dancer. Then you have the one of the personal ones that was instilled by Hollywood and Mills and Bones.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. Like Hollywood has done more damage to people's minds than, any other thing. And people think that in marriage is two halves becoming one. No,
two wholes. Thank you.
Two wholes coming together. So it's not like people put a lot of the reason I tell some other females that hit me up in here that they complain about this guy, and I listened to their complaint, and I was like, as much as I empathize with you, but have you seen that through your complaint, you place expectations on these guys that are not realistic?
Yes.
You want this person to complete you financially. You want this person to complete you from your insecurities because you have them. You want this person to psychologically fix you.
Hey,
in marriage.
Too much work.
Fix yourself and bring the best version of you to marriage.
Yeah. And guess what? And we make this unrealistic expectation. And I'm on that table. Like I said, I'm a helpless romantic. I am not, I'm a one-man woman. Like I'm not the type to date several people before I feel is the one. I just believe that love loves love. You understand? That love. So if I can love you with all my heart, with all my mind, with all my soul, you understand? There is this expectation that the same dose must come back to me. Not putting in mind if the person has the capacity to even be there. It's so unfair. And that is the reason why this topic is it takes two. All the breakdown of marriage we are seeing, all the especially the celebrity ones that are out there, you understand? It's as much as you want to sympathize with one party or the other. Yes, one party might be the one doing the wrong. But guess what? It actually takes two people to be in that unhealthy relationship. The one that is staying there despite the toxicity and the one that is doing the toxicity. Both of them need some level of healing. Both parties need a level of healing. And I wanted to ask you, this is my take, but what is your take on this? I believe that we're all a product of our beliefs, thoughts, and grooming. And we actually reflect that in our character. You understand? When it comes to two people merging together, I believe that wanting a particular thing to work should be as a result of the contribution of both parties wanting that thing to work. And I feel that we're not even practically looking at it from all the other things that we venture in life. I feel that we relegate marriage to be some special supernatural thing that needs to fix itself once some certain rules of vows have been said. Please help me understand, my brother. If you and I now want to do a project, now maybe I say I want to do an album with you, please. If you are calling me every day and I'm not turning up, would you want to continue that album? Would you want to continue to work? Do you understand? Or I say, today I'll just send you one line. Tomorrow my letter. Please, what are you going to do immediately? First of all, you're going to tell everybody, your friends, that Tolu is Kaffy is so very, very unserious. I don't care the quality she has. Yes, she knows how to dance and everything. Like she's the best dancer and everything. But I'm so sorry. Her attitude towards this vision, it sucks. And you're going to leave. We're so quick our eyes are open on the reality of the things that are tangible. But when it comes to our lives,
we don't take accountability.
So please, am I right or am I wrong? Please, what do you think about that?
You're right. Yeah, absolutely. There's one common thing that I even hear on my page that is very common, and I always come for that because I'm a child of God.
Hey.
You say, this is our relationship team. We just leave it to God.
Hey.
God I was like, you mean God will leave heaven with all the things He's doing?
And come down.
Relationship. Interesting. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's that lack of accountability.
Yes.
Like you said, in business relationships, you have to come with your best foot forward.
Yes.
If not, your business partner would say, I can't do business with you. You look like the part, you fit the part, you look like the brand, but you're not delivering.
Thanks, Susan.
And you have to come with your deliverables.
I feel that religion sometimes is used as a handicap to do some certain things wrong. You understand? First of all, God, you see, the entire world is in an amazing loop of perfection, orchestrated perfection, and it's in a loop of perfection. God does not need our input to get anything to work anymore. He actually doesn't. He has put everything in place to work according to the laws He has. He's not going to change His laws. He probably will create higher laws against the laws that are on ground, but it will not change any principle. His principle is thorough. And for God to take 7 days to build the earth, do you think He only used 7 days to do the crafting? He also did the operations. He also did the processes. He also, do you understand? He understood that, okay, this one must enter here for this one to come out here. And He needed to also create balance in nature, man, humanity, purpose, and life. He has created all of that. And do you know what? Another thing that we fail, we say it all the time, but we don't bring it to light. That we are God by ourselves as well, because we are created in His image and likeness. Image is look, feel, what it's in, likeness is how we can achieve stuff. We don't need God when God has made a God in you already and He's told you, look, all you need to do is maintain a relationship with me so that you don't break your flow. But guess what? All that you need to go, I don't give you. And He brought Jesus to remind us again, okay, look, if it's too complicated, all those laws and rules are too complicated to understand. Let me tell you one more time again. Love. Okay, just love. And if you're love with the fruit of the Holy Spirit, and He told us all what the fruit of the Holy Spirit was. Discipline, self-discipline was one of them. Giving, loving, steadfastness, faithfulness. And all of these are the moral values we are trying to instill. What else are we looking for? Like, what else are we looking for? He has given us the blueprint of how. Now, we're not saying that in terms of searching for the right man is to sit down and pray him into existence. No. And you know what? Another thing that I think is a problem, Tolu, is that you see that whole idea of a man shall find me. No. Let me go back. Soulmate. There's one soulmate for me. Until there are 6 billion people in this world, and more than half of that are men. At least almost 49% of 6 billion are men. So are you telling me it's not only one man, because it's not only one purpose that is driven for your assignments. It's not only one purpose driven for your assignment. There are many men capable for the assignments given to you. And do you know why, Tolu? People miss another point. Because people we are too into ourselves. We are too prideful and egoistic. We are too into ourselves. We totally think that even our purpose, when we do find it, we think it's ours. It's not. We don't own it.
To serve somebody else.
It's to serve somebody else. God bless me for you and you for them. That's what it is. And the service of somebody else, the service of who? God. Meaning your talent is not even yours. Your talent is sent on an errand to the world. And if he's sending this on an errand, if one lady says she's going to mess it up for you, God is going to, there's another lady. All you need to find out that does she have the instrument of purpose that you need for your own journey.
Yeah, absolutely, Kaffy. I totally 100% agree with you. Because if you act in love, and people don't get it, because I said this on my page, that love is service. That's what love is. Love is not a feeling you're trying to feel. It's a feeling you're trying to give to somebody. So even in music, even in serving as a doctor, even whatever it is you're doing in life, you're expressing love because love is service.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if you approach any relationship, be it romantic, non-romantic, with the mindset that if I love this person, I'm serving them, then the world will, because if I'm receiving love from you, it's only natural for me to feel like, man, I feel love. Let me return this love.
Yes. Yes.
Because everybody's approaching what they give to this world with the mindset of what's in it for me.
What's in it for me? Okay. I'm dating this guy now. Okay, Tolu is my boyfriend. What is he doing for me? What's he doing for me? And Tolu, I'm happy I said that. His purpose must complement my purpose. So what's in it for me? But they're not realizing that it's not that kind. Ladies and gentlemen, please do not get it wrong. When he says love is serving, it doesn't mean you serve toxicity. It doesn't mean you serve abuse. It doesn't mean you serve abuse. Even your spirit knows when you are abused. Because we are energy. All of us, we are energy. When there's a moment our energy just trips off. It's like electric circuits that it is a glitch. You understand? So another thing is, if we understand the essence, for instance, let me Tolu as an example. I understand his essence, and his essence is given, and my essence is given. And I align with the giving nature of Tolu. That's what we're talking about. I want to serve in that space because I know with Tolu we can give together. It doesn't mean that Tolu and I might not have separate other things that we do. I dance, he doesn't. But guess what? The fact that I'm a choreographer and I can coordinate movement to sound, I compliment him because he can coordinate sound for hearing. So that is purpose. Now, it could also be that Tolu and I is good artistically, musically. I am good artistically, dance. Both of us are terrible business. So because I know I need I am terrible business, I should not now be hounding Tolu and say, now what for you? You don't even know how to keep money. I don't know how to keep money. So what we should be doing, that's the point where we now go on a journey together to now say, there's this part that we both are messing up. Can we?
You know how powerful what you just said is? That one thing you just said, taking that journey together.
Yes.
Oh God, that's
to say, this is what because of the problem is sometimes you have a spouse or a partner that can identify the weaknesses. It's not the case of, does your partner have that humility to say, I understand what you've seen, and I think it's right that it's our time we both get a professional to guide us through, or can we learn together? Can we learn how to do this thing together? Okay. And we said, okay. And do you know what? In the process of learning, there's also another dynamic to that. In the process of learning, Tolu might catch on faster. I might not.
Exactly.
And at that moment, Tolu's like, you know what, babes, hold on tight to that. I think I got this for both of us now. You go back to facing the artistic thing. Because we went on a journey together to seek help, I have found it and I understand it better than you. That you get what I'm saying? Then he might decide to teach her, put her through, or you can decide to like separate it, like a couple I know. They are both doctors. Both of them were failing in the business. So the wife, she said, they're both surgeons, brilliant minds. But when it comes to the business, both of them were not getting it right. They were always losing money. So she told me what her husband had to do is, both of them had to do is that she still have enough room to go and be learning. His shifts does not even give him an opportunity to take an extra class or an extra course. But they both agreed that, look, since you have a little more time, you go and take the business courses, business management courses and all of that. I will cover up on the technical side of what we do, surgery. And that was what happened. So she took more time off for almost 2-3 years. She went to Lagos Business School. She went as a surgeon. She was going to different schools and she mastered the art of management and finance and all of that and brought it back home. And when they got home, she was so good at it, even though she was still a surgeon, she was so good at it that her husband and them were like, okay, you know what? This is the good time to just divide this enterprise. Let me head the technical department and you can head the business department. And that was how it worked.
Exactly.
It worked for them. But they had to go on that journey together.
Each other's imperfections. Exactly.
Yeah, and what we do is we expose imperfection because that's what we see our parents do.
Exactly.
See, let me put myself on the table here. I used to complain a lot, like when my husband doesn't do certain things, I'll be like, no, it should be doing this, it should be doing that, it should be doing this, it should be doing that. You understand? We are used to complaining and exposing imperfections. So I had to pull back. You know, Lord, I told you I went through that phase. I had to pull back and say, no. It's not going to get fixed like this. First person I need to fix is me. When I started fixing me, even my husband started seeing it. He started noticing that you're not complaining about some certain things because there's some things that were bad habits. I will keep talking about them. I'm not getting any results. So I was like, I just changed my perception of it. Instead of going, why are you doing this? And I have conversations like, maybe we should trace back what is triggering this.
Of course.
I have married you for better and for worse. It's not for better and for stupidity, which some people think. For better and for worse is you are not going to be perfect. That's what it means. It doesn't mean keep doing me bad. Because I think Africa has taken for better for worse that Shebi, you're married for better for worse. Let him do what he wants to do. We would say, no, that's for better for stupid. For better for worse means, okay, Tolu is a smoker. I don't like someone that smokes. I didn't know you smoke, but I married you. But I found out that this smoking thing used to hide it. Now you have not hide it anymore. And I don't like it. And I keep going, Tolu is a smoker. I don't like smoking. So at some point, I had to come and say, come, Tolu, come. Can we talk about this smoking thing? What are the triggers? Where is it coming from? What does it do for you? What does it do for you that makes you want to break the promises of keeping me happy, but you must go to that cigarette? Something is. So it's either two things. It's either you are insensitive to the fact that your partner doesn't like it, or you are dealing with an addiction that even you cannot control. Now, the question will now be, can your partner be humble enough to say, I see that this thing bothers you, so I want to come from your side. I would take steps to not do it around you or to not do it, but I'm battling with it. I want to stop, but I need help to get it to that level. That's one way. Another way is, this is me, I like to smoke. But I see that the position where you are, you don't like it, especially in public places. So I'm not going to do it anywhere publicly. So you understand? I'll give you a real example. My uncle. Do you know that my uncle, till he died at almost 70-something, we never saw a stick of cigarette in his mouth. We never saw it. And one of the reasons is this: there's a big stigma around smoking. You know, when you smoke, it's like you are wayward, you are immoral, you understand. So in the 80s, then it wasn't really as open as now. Then one is the head of the family. Two is the head of the Islamic community that really frowns at things like that. So he understood by virtue of the role he plays for his family and his environment, that nobody will understand his vice. And it will be disrespectful to all of that he values if he decides to just do it without care. So what he does is that we never knew he goes to the bathroom, and that's where he does it. I grew up in that house since I was little till I became married. The only thing I knew later was that, cigar is smell from here. I never saw my uncle. And I felt these are some of the compromises and sacrifices that we don't want to do in the world of today. We take it that, look, there are some things that you shouldn't say, take it or leave it. It's me, leave it like that. But if it's hurting the one you love, I think you want to have a conversation. I think it's a matter of balance between two people. And I have had to learn a lot of that. And if people read my book, so did you read my book? Have I sent you my book? Have I sent you my book?
No, you haven't sent it, but I'll go look for it.
No. It's on Amazon. You should read my book. Anybody listening to this, if you want to know a lot and you want to learn a lot, I think my life, everybody's life is made for a purpose. My story was sent on an errand, and I have been getting testimonies for everybody that read that book calls me back to tell me how it opened their eyes. Because I was very honest, I was very vulnerable, I was very open about life. And before we go today, because I'm looking forward to next week already, before we go today, I want you to hit on before a break, what are the measures? And when I'm talking about a break not only for marriage, there can be a fallout in something that looks like should lead somewhere good. You understand? What are the steps? If you want to have a 5-step plan, okay, this is Tolu's 5-step plan on before I say I'm done. What are my 5-step plan to check on things before I say I'm done? What are the things you're going to put into consideration?
Okay, mine might not be up to 5, but
whatever. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah. So the first thing on my list is taking accountability for your contribution into that thing breaking. Because 90%, in fact, 120% of the time, we put the blame on the other person.
On the other person.
Yeah.
On the other person.
When you texted me that today's topic was it takes two.
Yes.
In every situation, for a relationship working and for a relationship not working, it took two people. The biggest thing for me is to take accountability for your part in that. Then the second step is start the process of healing from that. Because even in that scenario that didn't work out well, you've accrued some trauma as well. Mm-hmm. You have. Mm-hmm. So because we keep butting heads and not listening to each other.
So there are wounds, emotional wounds.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can carry that trauma unknowingly and carry it to another relationship. Okay. So after taking accountability for your part in what happened, start the process of healing. And then the third part is forgive the other person. Forgive. That
part was hard. That part is usually hard because sometimes it depends on how heavy the trauma is. I went through a lot of trauma. Oh gosh. I should be one of the people saying no to marriage. But guess what? I know the value of marriage. And I know the parts I played in the friction I encountered. And when I say the part I played, not the deliberate part. The parts that I did not play or the parts that I played right were the usual part that will always get me the empathy of everybody else. You understand? To say, oh, we know you can. But the part I played is the part of I didn't even know myself enough. I was wrongly conditioned. I was acting out my wrong conditioning. Even while I was inside, I wasn't growing to understand the state or the expectations and obligations of that union, what it meant. I was acting out a movie script. You understand? Basically, that was what I was doing. I was just acting out. Why am I loving you? I'm not loving you the same way. Why am I giving you? I'm not giving you the same way. And the question I should have asked in the beginning, I didn't ask them. So I cannot, in Yoruba, they'll say, oh, I cannot plant onion. I expect Ghanaian. It's not. And even if we had that problem in the beginning, it also takes two people to realize almost at the same time that, okay, guys, then if the two realization does not now jam, then you're still going to have a problem. So I'm really, I agree with you on that level.
So,
yeah.
And, to add to what you just said, some people are in relationship because of their trauma bond. That brought them together, but they think it's love. No, it's the trauma that they were carrying.
Well.
So
you need to pin that down. Whoa, trauma bond. Yay. That I've been there too. They now be bonding on problem. Wow. That one is a smoke screen, big time.
It's a smoke screen. Because what will happen is that you're already traumatized, he's already traumatized, now come together because of trauma.
Hey, mystery finding company.
Woo. Honestly. And then if they make it last to the point where they give birth to children, that generation of trauma.
They will not.
Do you understand? Because monkey see, monkey do. What the kids are seeing you are doing to each other is what they believe is the norm. And they grow up with that trauma and take it to another generation. So it's very crucial that two people heal each other before they marry. Because if you don't, they are going to start a cycle that will affect generations.
That is so, like, I can so relate to what you're saying right now. And I can see that happening to me in some of the relationships that I've had. I have also seen that happen to a lot of people. And I'm getting clarity of that's what it was. It's trauma bonding. And if you're not careful, you just find yourself, and I think we really need to start redefining what in love means. Because I feel that even the religious sector are not doing well in it. Religious sector is practically telling us to love blind as long as we fast and pray more. You understand what I'm saying? Except some, like Pastor Kingsley, who always try to bring clarity to certain things. There's too much of spiritualization on certain things that are very, very real. It's not spirit. It's a habit. There's something that I was fasting out of my partner that God is looking at me like this. There is no demon that caused this one. It's habit. Was it a demon that caused it to be? So would somebody blame a demon now for drinking Coke every day and becoming fat? Was it a demon? It was your taste bud, your taste. Now you like fine boy with 6 packs. So you went to go looking for them. The one that has 1 pack that can still go to the gym and get 6 packs, you don't like that one. You're not taking 6 pack come and do you bad. You're not saying, God, draw him. Why would God draw you somebody? See, first of all, I think it's praying at me when we say, Father, Lord, draw the guy to me. I don't think it's fair because even God does not pray to draw us to him. He wants us, he gave us will, power. He didn't force anybody to love him. He's looking at us like this. I say, I love you regardless. So I love you regardless. You understand? But I'm here waiting. Once you need me, like we always treat him like ATM. Once you need me, that go come.
Kaffy, actually I had to tell somebody recently that don't pray. Go and pay for therapy.
Yes.
That's time.
Yes.
To pray. Go and do therapy because prayer will not fix what
therapy helped my life, dude. I am a product of therapy, you guys. You need to know that there are people who have learned to understand the psychology of human behavior, the science of cognitive reasoning. There are some things that, it is embedded in human nature and human practices. And people have watched that over time and they've seen repetitive patterns. It's patterns that create facts and leads to truths. So when somebody said the truth about Tolu is he sings, the only reason why you can say he sings is because he sings every goddamn day.
Of course.
It's the truth. It doesn't need, there's no miracle to explain that theory. So there are people who have dedicated their life to understand human behavior, have also experienced it enough to understand different outcomes. Now, another problem is a therapist is not your advice counselor. It's not supposed to give you advice. It's supposed to bring up, like, every time we come with a problem, this is how we are. We're like this.
Of course.
So we can't even understand what we are holding. What therapy does is kind of like broadens it like this. So that way you're able to say, hey, this is where I am the problem. Oh my God. Why did I take this rubbish? Oh, this is why there's a tongue. So what therapy did for me was that it made me understand, number one, that I'm not mad. that I cannot vote for another person's behavior to me. I can only be responsible for my behavior to them. I can only take responsibility for what I do. So if somebody does you bad, I'm not saying keep taking bad. Somebody does you bad, it's on them. It's not you. Sometimes you're a good person, you just meet bad people. It's life. It's one of those things. It's life. So paying for therapy, in fact, paying for anything concerning your personal development, mentally, psychologically, physically, is the best investment you can do. See, I stopped buying clothes more. I started buying courses. I started attending clarity coaching sessions. I did one with R.E.A.L. I did with Lushola. I got certificates for ENT certificates. I got certificates as a coach because I want to become a wellness. I want to become a wellness and life coach because I believe that my purpose in life is to see human living excellently, excellent living. Yeah. And I'm a product of finding nothing and becoming something because there's actually nothing like nothing. There's always something. You just need to know how to multiply that something to become more than, more of what you want. And that's what I want to dedicate my life. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. People want to say it's just a dancer, just a dancer. No. I'm here to not only to. There's more to you. Yes, I'm here not only to make you dance or teach you how to dance entertainment-wise. I'm also hoping to teach you how to dance to the rhythm of life, to the sound of life. Sometimes life is fun. The music is fun. And sometimes the music is slow and sad. Of course. But there's a reaction to all that tune that life displays. And that's what I want to do. So finally, before you go, tell you, next week, we're going to go deeper into the situation.
Yes, sir. Dig deeper.
Yes, and I want us to take each week, I want us to work on the woman and look at mistakes women make. You understand how we fall into different kind of traps and all of that. Then we now go into mistake men make, how we fall into different kind of traps. Then I want to dive into family. How family had their own problem. Then the next week, we'll now talk about society's input. So we're going to be taking it like that. So those of you, please don't fail to tune in and join us. Look, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kaffy Tube. It's going to be on there. Even after now, it's going to be on Kaffy Tube. You can go and watch the playback. I will leave it on Instagram for a day. Then I'm going to shut it down and keep it on the YouTube platform, which is even better for you to stream. Follow Tolu at I am Tolu. And stream his music to support my brother. Like, his music is beautiful. And let's see how this goes. I know that, Tolu, we're going to get to a point whereby we can have a room full of people who would like to express themselves and we can share what we know. So eventually, before this series is over, we are going to be doing Zoom calls and classes where people can just come and join us and we can just have moments together and we can point you to the right direction of where we feel you can get some professional help if you need it. Sometimes you just need a space to talk to people and do. This is us. Nobody's paying us to do this. Tolu does it almost every day, every week. This is for free, but there are also paid courses available from different experts that we can also recommend to you. You understand? And books you should read. Please, readers are leaders. Please, it's not a motivational speech. It's the truth of life. You cannot give what you don't know. You cannot change when you don't know what to change into.
Of course.
You understand? So give us your last statement on this topic. It takes two.
My very last statement is thank you everybody that joined in, and thank you, Kaffy, for even creating this idea to have me, yes. Like I said, little old me. And then my final word is just understand that you are a giver. And if you approach life, that's the reason why I love women. Women give, they gave birth to us, then they nurture us, and because women have that nature, there's something very divine about women. So just be a giver. In relationship, in business, you will find people that are givers too, that connect with you, and your life will be beautiful.
Woo! Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tolu. This has been really fun and really enlightening, and I want to continue to share life with you. I'm out. My name is Dr. Kaffy, and I am your wellness coach and human excellence and productivity advocate. So living better as a human being is my business. God bless you and bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Tolu. So we are on YouTube, and we're going to be talking to our YouTube family and letting them know that we're going to be seeing them again. So for those of you that tune in on YouTube, thank you very much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. We're going to be doing this series as the Lord leads us. Hopefully we're able to cover some of the topics in like maybe 6 or 7 episodes. I don't know, but you know, as long as Tolu is available, I'm available to do this. And in the future, we want to encourage you guys to start dropping comments, questions. It also helps with the topic. It helps with a direction for discussion for the next conversation we're going to be having. And trust me, we're not always going to be alone. Kutolo and I, but next week I'm thinking of bringing somebody also that can come and shatter tables for us here. So from time to time, we're going to be bringing in guests that will be riding with us. The idea is to be real. And I don't see any other way that we can try to be a better human being than expressing who we really are. If we're not afraid to express who we really are, then we are not going to be stopping growth from happening for us. You understand? And that's what it is. So Tolu, give us words for our YouTube family before they go. Thank you. Don't forget to follow Tolu and Tolu on Instagram. And he's an amazing musician and producer. Please stream his music. And definitely, Tolu, you have a YouTube page, right? You can also subscribe to your YouTube channel and watch his amazing productions, and his opinions on things, which I think are very valid. So take care.